Hey guys, Artosis here, and I'm going to be casting some replays from the ASL qualifiers for Season 14 here. This is from day number 2, and this is actually a first round bracket match here between Scan, you know him, you love him, he's fantastic, and Dewalt, one of the absolute best non-Korean players. So this should be a lot of fun. Dewalt he's been my choice as probably the best foreigner, and I'm definitely my choice for the foreigner with the best approach to the game for quite some time. Like, he really tries to play the most flexible, powerful style that there is, rather than being overly stylistic like a lot of the other non-Korean players. So let's see what he can do here against Scan, who, of course, has had a little bit of a tough time getting back into ASL. He's been in ASL before, but he loses in the finals like a lot to very top-end pro gamers. So, yeah, we're gonna see how it goes. The first map here is Vermeer, and Vermeer is quite a big 4-player map. Kind of excited to see what Dewalt opens with here. Is it okay? It is gonna be Gateway, but it's gonna be Gateway Expand. We're gonna see about that, or is he gonna go into the gas? Now, obviously, these two have played some before in the past, and honestly, I don't think I've seen them play recently, so it'll be cool to see if Dewalt has closed the gap a little bit here against Scan. A quick note as well, guys. I do realize that we missed a few days on our ArtosisCasts. I'm really sorry about that. I actually banked some extra casts before my flight to Canada. If you missed it, yes, I'm moving to Canada. I'm in Canada right now, but I was quite jet lagged and everything, and so we did miss a couple extra days there, I think. So sorry about that. But getting everything back up and running, I have my whole setup, so we should get this completely normal again. I know I've said that because I got COVID, and then I had my whole moving fiasco, and now I've actually moved, so there's been a few days that have been missed this year, so sorry about that. But yeah, I have no plans to stop this. I do have plans to get more regular now, so hope that you do enjoy, and yeah, let's see how this goes. First off, Zealot coming out here from Dewalt. He does scout exactly where Scan is at. Of course, Scan's not going to know that a Zealot is on the way. Throws down his second depot here. He is making a second Marine, so we are going to have a little bit of a supply block here for a moment on this SCV, as the depot will not be done quite yet. In fact, that's almost a full SCV that is going to be blocked, but he will have the second Marine out, which is going to make it a lot easier for him to play against that Zealot. The Zealot coming up to the side, we'll see. Dewalt might hide this to the side. Like, going up the ramp cross map is not all that good, especially if you start your second Marine right away, because then you're going to have 3 as it comes up, right? And you're just never going to get anything done. So at this point, like, Dewalt should actually probably turn around, or he's just going to lose this. Yeah, turns around, gets out of here, making a Nexus at home. We have no range or anything like that. And Scan, not missing a beat here while he scouts. Skips getting any sort of third depot or anything, doesn't need any additional defenses, can't really get offensive either, so he's going to go ahead and throw down his command center here as well. Now, the Vulture going out, normally the Zealot gets clicked off in some kind of random direction, try to get away from the Vulture, and that's exactly what happened here. Dewalt sending it way off to the side, and Scan guessing the other side. He is going to get that wrong, and he's not going to find the Zealot, so the Zealot will make it out of here safe. Now, range coming up. Pretty standard openers. Let's see what Scan goes for. I'd imagine he's going to go Mines from here. I'd be kind of surprised at anything else. And there it is. Mines getting started. His supply getting a little bit tight here. And, ooh, very quick starport play. Oops, took that vision off for a moment. But very, very quick starport play here from Scan. So he's going to be going for an aggressive Vulture drop, which, I mean, it can be... It's not ever bad, I think, to go for a build like this, but it's not always going to pay off. Like, if you don't get any damage with it, the game just goes long. Now, if he gets a lot of kills with it, okay, fantastic. Like, there might be some sort of follow-up, or maybe he just gets into a position where he's completely safe taking 3-4 bases. But, again, if Dewalt, like, blocks it well, then you just... There really isn't... I guess... Oh, and it looks like Scan pulled those SCVs, so I'll talk about that in 1 second. But basically, there isn't any way to make the game end anytime soon as Terran if it doesn't do pretty big damage, right? Like, you basically, it slows down all your factories so much, all timing attacks go out the window. And you just kind of have to play a longer reactive game. Anyways, the SCVs being pulled to the side there as the probe was coming, that's what it looked like. I kind of missed it as we jumped up, but that can actually be a little bit of a tell as to what's going on. Dewalt may possibly read into that if I saw that correctly. Because if you're really trying to prevent the probe from getting up, it's like, oh, is he doing something that I really should not be scouting? And the only thing that exists for that in these cross spawns would probably be a vulture drop. Okay, so Observer's coming out. 2-gate Observer here for Dewalt. He hasn't chosen to go for Reaver Tech or for a third Nexus yet. We don't really know what his plan is. In the meantime, Scan has that speed upgrade coming. And how many vultures does he have? 3 right here and 1 going out into the map as well. He might leave this one out of the drop so that he can actually hit the natural once goons get pulled away. That is sometimes a popular move to make. Now, we have Scan going for a Wraith back here at home. So as you can see, like, he's buying a lot of stuff, man. He's going for turrets. He's going for the armory. Second factory finally only has 1 siege tank. So he doesn't have, like, any real staying power with his army. He's all about the tech. Now let's see what this drop can get done. Okay, does load up with 4. Drops 2 off here at the natural. Targeting down probes as best he can. Dewalt, actually, I mean, this is a lot of damage so far. Look at this. That's 4 kills already over here. Oh my god. That is a huge amount of damage, actually. Look at that. That has to be 10 plus probes. Because he dropped in both locations, it was a little bit hard to see. But yeah, I think that was about... I actually think he killed like 11 probes, maybe even 12. And that is absolutely gigantic. Look at this, 40 SCVs to 30 probes. So Scan having a gigantic advantage. We'll see how he wants to play it from here. Now, Dewalt will produce probes non-stop from his nexuses, and in fact, when this third one pops up, he should be producing from there for quite some time as well to try to regain that economy that he just lost. Whereas Scan here, going up to 3 factories, that's very standard after the starport because you are so low on units. You really got to get those 3 factories up pretty quickly and start replenishing. Well, to be honest, that's kind of become the norm with every build nowadays in TvP. But let's see where he wants to go from here. Like, are we going to see him try some sort of timing attack? Are we just going to see that third base come up? Because sometimes when Terran players do great damage with something like a Vulture drop, you're going to end up seeing things like 5 factory follow-ups, right? Where you're like, okay, they can't really get enough production and keep their probe count up, so let's just attack early on. Kind of a common thing. Now, over here, it looks like Dewalt's going to go into 3-base Arbiter. Not a bad call, but of course, he is going to lack any sort of real fighting power for a bit. Scan. And there it is, the 5 factory, as I was talking about before. He's decided that he is going to go ahead and try to end this game. Feeling that he did enough damage. He's got so many mines on the map, he actually feels completely comfortable at this point, too. One thing I'm a little bit surprised about is that there's no second add-on. I feel like the one thing that's going to be wrong here is that Scan is going to be very low on siege tanks. Like, look at the siege tank count, right? If you go, like, non-stop siege tanks from the beginning, then you're going to have, like, 2 more than he has here. And then, of course, if you add that second add-on... Okay, there it is. The second add-on is coming up. And only 5 tanks right now. So let's see, like, maybe Dewalt can actually defend against this. He's walking up through the map right now. He's actually magically ninja dodging some of these mines, but might end up running into some of them on the side here. Ooh, just barely skirts around that one. And Scan. Science facility coming up. Oh, he's just sieging. Oh, that's interesting. Against the Arbiter play to go ahead and, like... Yeah, okay, so basically, I think what's occurred here is he went for 5 factory because he was playing a little bit blind, right? He lost that dropship early on, and his comsats were a bit late, so he wasn't entirely sure what Dewalt was doing, so this was more of a safety play. Even though he added the 5 facts, it felt like he was going to attack, but now that he's scouted that it's actually Arbiter tech, he's slowed it down quite a bit and taken a 3rd base. It kind of caught me off guard there, but You know, Scan knows best for sure. A little bit of harassment continues onwards. Still up 10 workers here. Dewalt not in the greatest spot, but I mean, he has some time to breathe. You know, Scan has slowed the game down by not trying to push across the map. And honestly, like, I feel, you know, the lack of second add-on did make me question about the push, like I was talking about earlier, but I feel like if he had tried to push across the map, maybe Dewalt holds it, maybe doesn't because of the lack of siege tanks, but maybe there would be more harassment potential in there. Either way, it feels like Scan is playing a very careful game here. He feels like, you know what, absolutely can outplay Dewalt in the longer game, and that is what he's going for. So that third base getting up, getting the bunker as well. You know, one thing that is not always comfortable is going 5 factories against Arbiter. Now, again, because of the damage Dewalt took, I think that Scan will be fine, and he's still in very good shape this game. But, you know, Arbiter is like, once it's out and doing its thing, you want to have a big economy already, because they're going to start, you know, moving around and taking a lot of bases and doing things like giant recalls. By the way, we do have +1 air attacks getting started, which is catching me off guard a little bit. I'm not entirely sure why he's doing that. Maybe he does want to go into carriers, but I don't think Vermeer is a great carrier map, to be honest. So this might be a tricky move, maybe just a preparatory move, I guess. More factories going up for Scan. Game has certainly slowed down. You know, we've had a couple moments of some vulture harassment, and honestly, there hasn't been many options for Dewalt to do anything, considering the damage he took early on. But you can see his supply starting to peak up. He's caught up as far as the worker count goes. Now he's up 20 army supply as well. That is kind of normal for the matchup, by the way, even though he lost all those probes. Like, he has macroed pretty perfectly. Scan hasn't put any real pressure other than light vulture harassment on. And now Dewalt starts to move out, but Scan has more than enough units to hold him off. The one thing that could be slightly scary, I guess, would be a recall, but Dewalt does not have that yet. Scan not completely aware of that, of course. You can't tell what they're upgrading, but stasis would be a bit more common. Now forward comes this Arbiter. Does have enough for a stasis now. Recall on the way, EMP on the way for Scan as well. Definitely wants to get that EMP up very, very quickly. And here we go. He's going to try it. I don't think he can get anything done here, to be honest. Dewalt looks to attack in, but beautifully placed depots, mines in front, tanks behind. Look at this bunker, turret, everything that he needs. Beautiful spread, too. No stasis would get more than 2 tanks in this area, so that spread is absolutely amazing from Scan. He's utilizing this terrain awesomely, just a perfect setup. Now, over here, that would be a juicy stasis right there. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Oh, but it looks like Dewalt is just going to lose goons and take a bunch of damage on his army. He backs up once again. Ooh, a 6 siege tank stasis would be amazing, but attacking might not be the play here either. Now, a lot of turrets are being made on the side. This is anti-recall. What it'll do is kill the Arbiter, but the recall will still get off. Look, he's almost got the 150 energy, and recall is almost done. Very well timed out. And now, since he hasn't actually attacked in with the stasis, it looks like Scan is getting ready for this. I think he kind of feels that this is actually on the way. Okay, here we go. He realizes now, as the Arbiter tries to fly in, there goes the recall while getting his army inside, but that defense matrix, absolutely awesome. And it doesn't seem like this recall is going to do anything at all. Scan very, very, very ready for it. He loses almost nothing, to be honest. Like, look at this. He lost 2 turrets and a couple units, and that is it. So, very, very good hold. That defense matrix on this siege tank really making the difference. Dewalt, in the meantime, I love this move that he did. We just saw it on the mini-map while this was happening, but he ran a small army here just in case there was already a 4th base up. Now, there wasn't. Scan is making his 4th. It's a little bit later. A lot of people do get quicker 4ths against Arbiter attack. But yeah, Dewalt just trying to hit multiple locations here. Now, Scan has 3-2 on the way. Things starting to look pretty good. I mean, if you smash the first recall, that's very, very important. Dewalt is maxed out again. Both sides starting to get banks. Dewalt also with this 5th base location. Right, some mines laying in the center. A little bit of scuffling going on. And this Arbiter, I'm kind of waiting. I'm kind of keeping my eye on the mini-map for that. He does have Arbiter Energy on the way, as well as Psystorm, so a nice transition towards those High Templars as well. Definitely wants to add those into his army. You know, you can play just pure Arbiter, but it gets a lot stronger once you mix in a few Psystorms as well. That can actually really help in the recalls, even cleaning up those vultures that are running through in those little clumps. Now, here comes Scan. He's got, like, well, he doesn't actually have an EMP. He has two vessels that are close to an EMP, but not there quite yet. Has to be a little bit careful at that. This is a lot of siege tanks, by the way. Like, a serious amount. Yeah, he has 3 add-ons. I had to check, because that seems abnormal to have that many siege tanks right now. But yeah, he got that pretty early on. Dewalt continuing to expand. Now, I think the main thing that Dewalt needs to do here is run around. And you can see that, right? Like, he's rotating his army around. Scan is starting to catch little pieces of it, which is huge. But Dewalt needs to not actually engage this army unless something like this happens. This is actually a great location. I think he wasn't quite aware. If you look at this spread, Scan's army split going around this terrain feature, and almost half of his army, it's like a third of his army's up here. Dewalt actually had potential to maybe kill off this group of tanks, but he pulls back, didn't have full vision, made the call, and I think that's totally fine there. But yeah, he's got to continue to just run around the map, rotate around, and not give Scan the engagement he's looking for unless it's perfect for Dewalt, unless he gets huge stasises down. Now, he does have 1 stasis here, and it's a good stasis for sure. He can clean off the front little bit, but as his alts disappear, he has to back out. I would say that that was a good engage for Scan. He's got to be careful, though. Either get the Vulture reinforcements up here or get out of the area. He doesn't. If he loses these tanks, Dewalt actually takes the lead. Now you can see Dewalt having a hard time remaxing. Oh my god, he's actually going into carriers, which is something I did not expect here at all. We'll see if that works out for him. Right, this is a very small army to be counterattacking with. It looks like he's going to end up losing all of these goons for sure. Tries to target down this Goliath. That doesn't work out for him either. Kind of a little bit sloppy. His supply is low. You know, when you're going into carriers, that's the only, like, real heavy transition that Protoss has. So you really want to maintain your army count and not just lose it while you're making carriers. Because look at this. He has 147 supply, but very little effective supply, considering there's, like, 3 carriers out and 2 more making, right? So that's 30 of his supply is not being used. And so he's got 120, which means he's got 50 army supply, okay? Just jumping around doing a little bit of math there. That doesn't do anything against Scan. So I think definitely Dewalt making a little bit of a mistake. Although he's played a pretty good game considering how rough it's been on him. Now, Scan coming towards the natural. Doesn't seem like he's that ready for the carriers. As he starts to shoot, we should see a bunch of Goliaths pop up on that production tab as Scan starts to lose a few units here and there. Without many Goliaths, like, Dewalt will be able to clean some of this, but Scan's starting to send units to other bases as well. He's going to kill off as much as he can right now. He's attacking very quickly with these siege tanks, but you do have to be careful. If he loses every tank here, that's where, you know, Dewalt can really start to come back. But this Nexus is going to fall. If he moves forward at all, this Nexus will fall. Yeah, he is going to move towards this one. So killing 3 Nexuses, even if you lose most of your tanks, is probably going to be a good move, right? Well, Scan backs up for now. A little bit of a sloppy attack here. Photon cannons showing that they can beat siege tanks. That defense matrix gaining a lot of time here. Dewalt not really microing and targeting his carriers very much. Cloak on the way, as well as ship attack. So it looks like he is going to jump into some Wraiths as well, which I think is a great choice here for Scan. He's got such a great economy at the moment and a lot of gas. Sometimes a group of Wraiths will just finish the game when you've got an edge against someone switching into carrier. Now, this Nexus is going to fall. I think probably this one as well. I am a little bit surprised. Like, you started to attack here and then pulled back, but leaves that one be. Let's see if Dewalt can actually save this base. That would be a pretty big deal. Only 2 Goliaths here, so definitely looks doable. Goliaths putting actually a lot of damage onto this carrier. You do not want to be losing this to 2 Goliaths. Even though they do have those 3-2 upgrades, which are absolutely massive. So down went this Nexus. Vulture left over here. Love to see it. Dewalt didn't lose as much as I thought he would to that attack, honestly. I think that the scan could have been a little bit cleaner there. But now producing a lot of wraiths, his macro just kicking in like big time at the moment. A lot of 3-2 mech going to be walking on the map. That +3 armor coming as well. Just a few units from Dewalt kind of running up the map also. I got to tell you, like, Scan certainly has been in control the entire game and looks stronger overall. But if you consider the amount of damage that Dewalt took early on, I think Dewalt actually played a beautiful game, except for a few of the engagements that we saw, like, over in this area where he like threw away a group of goons, right? Like it was like he was trying to buy time, but losing the units themselves is so rough when you're going carrier. Now, his carrier count's getting pretty high. If he can kill this army, there is a chance that he can win this game still. Just he has to retain his carriers, basically. The carriers get so much value over time, but the upgrades on the Goliath and the Goliath count look like Scan can kill him right now. We shall see about that. Scan continuing to push forward. These few tanks on the side, the carriers go over to try to deal with. I love the double attacks here, making the carriers split off from the main army here for a moment. Dewalt not having enough for Psystorm. The tanks unsieging, getting ready to move forward, and this is looking like it's a bit too much. Dewalt's money is almost gone here. He's mining all right, but he's sending his carriers on a counterattack, so that is where you can tell he's really, really desperate, because he'll lose everything at home. He's just trying to kind of slow things down, Psystorm from the high ground, you know, slow everything, and buy time for these carriers to get in. He might try to go towards the main base. Okay, he's going to start clicking on command centers, a very Protoss thing to do. You get a big fleet of carriers, you just start clicking on command centers and destroy the economy of Terran. But the thing is, Scan is about to kill everything he has right now. And with those rates that have been added in, like, are there even observers here? I do not think so. And this is where he's going to get punished for this counterattack play. Really a beautiful choice from Scan to add these rates in as well. And I think he just heard the rates, so he might get out of here. Or he might even just GG. I think that's about to be it. And what a beautiful game. GG. Scan wins game 1.